Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Phil Lindsey. Back to the world of Sin City this week, kids. Frank Miller's epic neo-noir crime thriller, fantasy, action, shoot 'em up, insanity, characters never die. Holy Lord, they're back from the dead. Or are they? Everybody's invincible and there's a bunch of white blood happening. It's all over the place. So if you like that kind of stuff, if you dug Sin City, you're going to love A Dame to Kill For, right? Well, maybe not. But we're going to get into it here today and lots to talk about. So let's not waste any more time. Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, also known as Frank Miller's Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, of course, is a 2014 American action crime anthology film and follow-up to the 2005 film Sin City, directed by Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller. The script is written by Miller and is primarily based on the second book in the Sin City series by Miller called A Dame to Kill For. One of the smaller plots of the film is based on the short story Just Another Saturday Night, which is collected in Booze, Broads, and Bullets, the sixth book in the comic series. Two original stories, The Long Bad Night and Nancy's Last Dance, were created exclusively for the film, written by Miller. The film stars an ensemble cast, many of whom you'll recognize from the first movie, some of whom you will not. This, of course, as we said, based on the extremely popular Sin City series by Frank Miller. And this sucker was released August 19th, 2014, TCL Chinese Theater, and August 22nd, 2014 in the United States. Running time is 102 minutes. And unlike the predecessor, the first film, this sucker had a budget of $65 million on a box office of $39.4. So yes, it lost a few bucks. But that is your lowdown on Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. So Phil, as we get started here today, we talked for all of 20 seconds about this before I hit record. You and I, neither one have seen this film till today. First thoughts coming out of this one. What do you think?
It has a lot of the visual appeal of the first movie.
Mhm.
It still looks good. The stories aren't nearly as satisfying or succinct.
Mm.
And I think that that's part of what harms it. And it's hard for this to not feel like a cash grab in some ways. Just the way that some of the characters are here with no real explanation of the timeline and how it works. We're supposed to understand the stuff with Marv happened before his execution in the first movie. Sure. But it's kind of confusing, especially when you have more than one antagonist named Rourke.
Yes, and also Nancy. Like the cutting of the hair and all that didn't take place in the other film. So how is this a prequel?
Yeah, there's some quirky timeline stuff that doesn't work here. Um, yeah, I do think it's interesting because there's a big time jump from 2005 to 2014. That's almost a 10-year jump.
Yeah.
I think when we talked about this last time, we talked about Frank Miller as a creator and how much his writing style did not age well with time. And I think you could see it with the writing for the stories exclusive for this movie and the ones that already existed. Um,
Mm.
they I don't think that the stories we got, the newer stories, were nearly as satisfying. They didn't feel as fresh. They felt too on the nose. Some of the stereotypes stuck out like a sore thumb here, and not in a great way like they did in the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I love how you began your review very diplomatically in the beginning, and you were praising it first. I respect the effort to
Well,
not go, man. What is this?
well, because it does still look good, and I do think that
Sure.
a lot of visuals that made the first movie feel so fresh, they still worked here, and there was a lot to like about the style choices they made with this movie. Um, but I feel like it was a lot of flash and no substance at times.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like, and it kind of seems like it's a carbon copy, but not as
Yes.
good. Like I don't know if it's that harsh, but yeah, it definitely feels like something's not right. It kind of doesn't have, for lack of a better word, the charm of the first one. The originality is kind of not there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It doesn't have the same charm, and I think that's why, like I said, it's hard to not feel like this is a cash grab.
Yeah, I agree totally. I don't, you know, listen, is it because we've already seen it? Has that affected it as well? Like, if, let's say this were part one, that
Mhm.
there had not been a Sin City, do you think it had a fighting chance, or was it, the story was so full of holes, or was the reason the story was full of holes because they tried this non-linear timeline stuff?
I think it's the timeline, the because the jumping around the timeline was interesting in the first movie. I thought that it harmed the movie this time around because it made the
Yes.
movie harder to follow. It was a bit confusing at times. Um, and the stories, I felt like they went on a bit long. Like that's
Hmm.
why I said they didn't feel as succinct or clever, and that's why I said it's hard to not also think that this is part of Frank Miller's writing just not aging very well. Um, because some of the stuff in the first movies that was based off of the stuff from his graphic novels that already existed or the anthologies, um, it had like kind of like this like poetic justice to it. It had this punch to it.
Mm.
Um, these stories didn't have that. It just felt like they ended abruptly. It was like, well, here's something very violent that happened. The end.
Yeah. Yes.
And like the long bad night, right? That's the name of the story that centers around JGL, right?
Long Bad Night is, yes, Johnny the gambler arrives in Sin City, heads to Katie's place. That's Long Bad Night part one. Yes.
Yes. The long bad night for as long as we spend with that character. Um you you give us the premise early on and then you stop and go to the prequel about Dwight. And then you go back to this story about Johnny. And the Johnny storyline doesn't really have a satisfying ending. He just
No.
dies.
Yes.
He just dies rather abruptly, and that was it. And there's nothing poetic about it. There's nothing intriguing about it. There's nothing like traumatic in a interesting way about it. It just happens, and then they just move on to the next thing.
And also, did it feel like there was way too much time before coming back to that?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think like if you're going to cut that story in half and put the Dwight story in the dead set in the middle, um, it needed to be something interesting at the end of that to justify it. And it wasn't. It just
Mm.
kind of it was like, oh well, we're back to this, and then here the end. It was like, but huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It didn't, something about that wasn't working. And once again, even though Rourke got his in the end, spoiler alert, he won. The bad guys continued to win throughout this movie as they did the first one.
Right, and I mean, him if he just won here and it set up something for the Nancy story in the last arc of the film, sure. But the way it ended wasn't interesting at all. It just
Not
kinda
at
ended.
all.
And I thought the Johnny character was great. I think that he was cool. He fit this atmosphere. Like, if there's several things he does, I'm like, this guy's slick, man. The way he shuffles the cards, the way he talks,
Mhm.
he's great. He's an interesting character. But to introduce this interesting character in this way and then just kind of go, well, That's what happened to him. See you later. What?
I totally agree. Yeah, it didn't. And you know what? When Rourke pulls the gun on him, I thought, well, someone's going to bust in. Marv's
Something's
going to
gonna
bust in and save him. You know.
something's gonna happen because his whole storyline up to that point, his whole dynamic in the city is that he's lucky.
Hmm.
And I guess you're supposed to look at it in a very cynical way. I was his luck ran out. But I was expecting something like poetically lucky to happen for him, like the gun jammed or something.
Mm.
And then like he got like comeuppance on him. Even if he ended up still dying, something was supposed to happen. And this is why I said the writing in the original stories are so much better because yes, it's deeply traumatic that Marv died the way he did. It's sad. But it has a punch to it because he still dies as Marv and you still get the punchline of them needing to electrocute him twice to kill him.
Hmm.
There's none of that here.
Yeah, there's none of that here at all. Yeah, totally agree. I mean, Mar's great. We'll get to the cast in a minute. Mar's great. He's always great. But like, here's something I kind of bumped into. You tell me if how you feel about it. The characters interact a lot more than they did in the
Hmm.
first movie. Like, I don't think Bruce Willis's character interacted with Marv at all. But like, they overlapped here quite a bit. Several of
Yeah.
the characters did. I
Yeah.
kind of felt like I should think this is cool, but I
Hmm.
kind of didn't feel it was cool. I thought, why are we mixing the stories? Let's just see where they lead. But Phil, maybe that's a problem. Maybe they weren't leading and they had to cross them over. I don't know.
I think the times that the characters interacted, it made sense. Like, for
Mhm,
example, Dwight and Marv interacting made sense because you had that narration from Dwight in the first movie where he admired Dwight. I mean, he admired Marv, and he admired just like how like in any other time he would be like heralded as a hero, but here he's just some other guy. He's
mhm,
just some other ex-con. And so I thought it made sense for those two to interact in that prequel. In the same way that it made sense for him to interact with Nancy because he had already been set up as kind of like this guardian angel for Nancy.
mhm.
Um, but it felt a bit too on the nose in the Nancy stuff. It felt like, okay, well, why would he go that far to help her? I don't know. I have a lot of problems with the Nancy arc.
Yeah, it was weird too, because like first of all, Jessica Alba looks great.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying that because she's playing a stripper on a stage. I'm saying like how do I say this? She filled out. Like in that 2005 movie, maybe it's because she was playing younger, I don't know, and she was younger.
Hmm.
But man, she really felt like this is a grown woman in this movie. There was nothing wrong with that, but it was kind of a startling to me anyway. It was kind of a startling like, wow, that's Jessica Alba's an adult, buddy. She's a full-blown woman.
Yes.
Like, which also feel mess with my head with this weird time stuff they did.
Yeah, I think it's because the movie is made almost 10 years later. Like
Yes.
even some of the stuff with Marv, his face looks fatter.
Yes.
It doesn't look as he doesn't look as visually appealing in the same way that he did in the first movie.
Yes, for sure. Plus, that's Rourke. That's got a lot of that's got to be Rourke. It's not just the prosthetics; it's him underneath all that.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean that's the risk you take when you make a movie 9 years later. We'll
man.
put out a movie 9 years later.
We just. I'm not trying to take this home too early. I just don't know that we needed this movie. I don't. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing that happened here that I was like, oh, I'll never forget this. This was great. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't know. Just to me, I'm like, I don't even like you said earlier, cash grab. I kind of feel like that's what we're looking at here.
Yes. I feel like there are ideas here that are interesting, but I don't
Mm,
think they were executed well.
yes.
Like in theory, yes, the prequel of how does Dwight end up getting the the plastic surgery and all of these things is an interesting idea, and like his relationship with the women in Old Town, and like why are they so loyal to him? Like finding all this stuff in the prequel is interesting. Like
Mhm.
even like finding out like why does McCarthy have like this this rivalry with I can't remember the character's name with the glass eye.
Minute.
Manute. Why does he have the rivalry with Manute? Why does
Yeah, I
Manute hate
don't
him?
know.
And yeah, on the surface, finding out all of those things is interesting, but I just don't think the execution was great. And it's the same thing with the Nancy story. Yeah, the idea of Nancy getting revenge after the first movie is interesting, but I don't think the follow up was good.
Mhm. Yeah, this. Yeah, I didn't get it. There was a lot of stuff I didn't. Just didn't get. Didn't make any sense to me at all. And with the first movie, you just take it with a grain of salt. It's supposed to be fun, even
Hmm.
though there's a lot of gratuitous, insanely gratuitous violence. It's not meant to be real. Take it on the nose, keep on trucking, right?
Yes.
But with this, and like I tried to do that with this, but I thought, yeah, but see, now you told me a certain story in part one that you're not really fulfilling in part two. So yeah, dude, I bumped into stuff big time.
Yeah, I think some of these stories work better as a one-off, and I think like the original Sin City anthology worked so well because it wasn't a serial comic in some ways. It was just all of these small short stories put together,
Hmm.
and I think that that's what made the first movie interesting as well. And so, yeah, the idea of a follow-up and you know, doing like the connective tissue in between these stories, in theory, sounds good. But I think if the execution was better, maybe this would have been a better movie, but I just don't think the execution was good. I just don't think the writing was nearly as good in this movie.
It wasn't. I agree. And then like when you find out that there was, these chapters were written for the film. They weren't
Yeah.
written like this, but writing for a comic book is not the same as writing for a film. Like
Yes.
there's subtle nuances to both, and sometimes there's drastic differences to both. But like Frank Miller flat out writing stories for the film as opposed to, hey, I published this 6 years ago in a graphic novel
Hmm.
and it won every award on the planet. Okay, well that's different. As opposed to 2 months ago I wrote this for this movie. All right, but it's not the same. You're writing for a film. I don't know. Like it's not the same.
Yes. But that's why I'm saying it's hard to not see also the timeline
Hmm.
of Frank Miller's writing when Sin City was like crisp and it was this interesting idea. Um, and the run of comics that he wrote in between the first Sin City movie and when this movie was released. Because
Hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't All Star Batman and Robin come out in between this? Because I think All Star Batman and Robin was like 05, 06 to like
Was it that long
08.
ago? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was like 06 or 05 to 08 because if you guys remember, uh the timeline that book was coming out was all over the place because he wasn't meeting his deadlines, and so this was stretched out over like a 3-year period, 3 or 4 year period, and boy, that book was not good. That book was not
No.
good, and that's what I'm saying. I think Frank's writing in that time period in the 2000s was not good, and I think that that's apparent that it affected this movie. Because if he wrote the two stories that were added to this movie in that time period, that makes sense why I didn't enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we said this in the first episode, man, that somewhere along the way, Frank Miller went from being this iconic writer, not that he's not still iconic, but from being the rebel and the breath of fresh air and the storyteller, like
Yeah.
yeah, F you, you can't tell me what to do. I won't do what you tell me. Like that kind of writer to being, what is this? Like it's kind of really shocking to the system how that changed. It's crazy, man.
Yes.
I mean, it'd be kind of like if Dylan just started singing pro-establishment tunes. You're
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, Bob, what the hell, man? Like, you know what I mean? It kind of feels like that. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, it just his writing in those initial iconic Batman comics that became like, staples at like Barnes and Nobles and some of these bookstores. Um, yeah, it's just not. It wasn't there in the 2000s. You could definitely say the fastball was not there in
Yes. Oh, well said. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't there. He didn't have his best stuff anymore. Couldn't even throw a change up at this point. I'm not a baseball guy. I don't know what that means. So,
2000.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah, totally agree. Something, I don't want to lay it all in his hands. Rodriguez is here too. But, you're a director working with the guy who wrote this, and he
yeah.
got you to the dance to begin with. Sin City was a hit, made some money. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe you don't know during production there's problems. I don't know. I don't know how that's possible, but I guess it is.
Yeah, it very much felt like they tried to edit Frank as much as possible
Mm,
and make it fit this world and fit the story that they told in the first movie.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just not very good. Not very
Yeah,
good.
I totally agree.
Boink Studios YouTube is the home of Tom Clark's 6M podcast. Tom Clark's main event, Bear Mode, a podcast review of The Bear, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Subscribe to the channel for archives that date back to 2014, with new content being uploaded every week. And check out boinkstudios.com for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Bookmark the site today.
Let's get into this cast, man, because there's a lot of people to talk about as there was in the last movie. We will start with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Johnny. I will tell you this: the moment he appeared on the screen, um, in the first few minutes, I was like, "Yeah, I don't know why he's here." Uh, I like him a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I don't know why he's here. I'm not feeling this. I kind of feel like, well, here's an example of why this movie didn't work. Not because he's not a really good actor, but because I kind of think this is miscast. But then I got to the bit with that line that I sent you on Blue Sky, where the cop tells him, "I can't protect you," and he says, "Then why are you a cop?" I thought, all right, this might work. And then he did the bit with the shuffling the cards and all that, like you said. I'm like, okay, I think this might be all right. So he won me over,
Mhm.
you know. And if he didn't, it still wouldn't have been on him. It would just have been, I don't know if he's the right guy for this world because he's so clean cut. He is such a white meat baby face.
Yeah.
But like, I think it worked in some, they got lucky with that. I think
Mhm.
that it just happened to click. So maybe they saw something I didn't see. It's a shame it wasn't enough to make some money. But yeah, dude, at first I was like, I love this guy. I do. But like, why is he here? But man, it did click after all, you know?
Yeah, I thought he was great.
Mm,
I came across really liking his character. I think he's the best of the new characters that they introduced here.
mm,
Um, and I think in another movie, this would have been really good. I think that if this movie was just about him and
mm.
you told this story with him from start to finish, it would have been better. Um, but and I also came away thinking like, hey, this guy, if given a chance, if you did like a noir style detective movie with him as the lead, I think he would do very well. Um, but the problem with the Johnny character is kind of how we laid this out. Um, Johnny goes through these things where it just happens. He's got this great look, and it almost feels like deja vu. He does the exact same thing twice. He goes into Katie's, wins the jackpot the exact same way, goes right back into the room, gambles the same way, wins. And and it was just like, but it really amounted to nothing. Like
Yeah.
I have a hard time understanding what is the point of Johnny's story arc.
Because he didn't make an impact at all. It didn't,
Well,
yeah.
I think what we're supposed to take away from it, I think the impact he's supposed to have is that um, Senator Rourke is such a petty and insecure man that everybody that goes in there loses on purpose to him because they know that he cannot take a loss.
Mm,
And um, this kid knew that and dared to beat him anyway and walk away. And yeah, Rourke killed Rourke the first time. Uh, you know, killed this girl that he went in with, and then like beat him up, smashes his hand, shoots him, and throws him out of a car, embarrasses him. And then, even with that humiliation, he comes right back in, beats him again. And in his own words, he's like, see, it doesn't matter what you do to me. Everybody will know I beat you. Everybody will know I'm better than you. And that will haunt you to the end of your days. No matter what you do to me, I beat you.
Mm.
And on the surface, I get that. But it doesn't really land the same when he just shoots him and just moves on.
He just shoots him and moves on. It doesn't work.
He just shoots him and moves on. And it's like, yeah, all right. Yeah, he does get the point of, ha ha ha, I still beat you. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't keep any of the winnings. You lost all the other winnings. You lost the girl. And he just ended up dead at the end.
Yeah, then you got killed.
He sits there and runs your wife down, and he's like, my mom was an angel. It's like I said, none of that amounts to anything. It doesn't really have a point.
No, and like it didn't even come back. Like imagine if he had if he hadn't been killed there, but if he had shown back up before Nancy can kill him, and like he gets the drop on the guy so she can kill him. You know, even if he dies in that moment, it's still a well deserved. Like it's a great ending for him.
I think if you had done some kind of through line from there, it would have worked.
Yeah.
Like if he said all of that, like I still beat you, and in a fit of rage, Rourke gets up, unloads his gun on him, walks out. He dies. All right. Then when Nancy comes in and goes to shoot him, he picks up the gun. Click. There's no bullets in there because
Nice.
it's the same gun. He used all the bullets in there.
Right.
His own pettiness is his own undoing. Sure. But there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that here.
Yeah, none of that happens. I don't get it either. Yeah, definitely a negative here for sure. But I like him a lot, and I thought he was again. I will say that he didn't surprise me. It surprised me that everything managed to click. But again, they must have seen something I didn't.
Yeah.
But I liked him a lot. Mickey Rourke, as we said, is kind of the face of this. I'll say franchise. There's only 2 movies. He's kind of the face of this, despite how great Bruce Willis was in the first part. But the character of Marv is just so unforgettable. If there's anything anybody will remember, I think, from the Sin City thing, it's probably going to be Marv. Maybe there'll be other stuff. But for me, I think it's Marv because he's just so memorable. But it kind of just feels like he's along for the ride. He has the same line about, got to take your pills if you have a condition. I'm like, we're going to quote the same lines too? Like, come on, guys. Like, it felt like the writing didn't get any better for Marv at all. And I kind of waited for Marv to just look at the camera and go, yep, I'm doing the same stuff that I did last time, everybody. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it felt.
Yeah, it just felt like he was kind of along for the ride, like you said. It was like, hey, I need a lackey to help me get in this building. How about Marv? And it's like, yeah, Marv is there, and Marv kind of like even the introduction of Marv at the beginning, where he had like his quick story. It was just like this. We didn't really learn anything new about Marv in those scenes. And I think you're right. Marv is going to end up being like the breakout character from this. Like when you think Sin City, he's like the flagship character, for a lack of better words, of this book.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think that they did anything that interesting with him this time around. Because again, the first time, and we're seeing this for the first time, it's like, hey, this guy's great. Like he's got some great one-liners. He's this great traumatic character, and his ending was so sad, but at the same time, it fit who he was.
Yes.
I don't think that they did anything here to really add to that, to add any new layers to it. I don't think that they did any like interesting foreshadowing to get him to where he ended up. It just felt like, well, here's Marv again.
Yeah, like throwing it to the weatherman.
Hey, remember Marv? Remember that guy you really liked the first time? Here he is again.
And now back to Marv. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you guys really liked Mickey Rourke the first time with the prosthetics? Here he is again. More prosthetics.
And, not to keep harping on this, but I may. When you show him getting killed
Mm-hmm.
and then he's right back, you can do all the hullabaloo of this is nonlinear timeline storytelling, everybody. You can get as cute as you want to get. The mainstream audience is going to go, hold on, how come he's not dead?
And they don't really give an answer.
No.
You're just supposed to put the timeline together yourself, and I just don't think that works here. Um,
It doesn't work at all because Nancy cuts her hair, cuts her face up to get revenge, and he's there with her. That didn't happen in the first film.
so my belief of the timeline is that so the Dwight stuff is a prequel, so that takes place before any of the stuff with Hardigan and before the stuff with Marv and Goldie. Because
And the Marv stuff is a sequel, right?
Right, because Goldie is in the Dwight prequel.
Oy vey.
Yeah, right. So the Nancy stuff takes place, of course, after the stuff with the Yellow Bastard and Hardigan. But,
Right.
and this is why it's confusing that you have more than one antagonist that's named Rourke. Senator Rourke is the bad guy, is the main antagonist for the Hardigan and Nancy plotline. Cardinal Rourke is the main antagonist for Mar's storyline later on. That's a different story.
Yeah. Oi. I mean, look, here's what I think. I think they meaning Frank and whoever said, man, we shouldn't do this movie without Mickey. So
Yeah, I think that they thought we need all of the big stars that we had the first time around as a selling point.
yeah.
We need to at least, reference all of these characters from the first time around, like the biggest stars that were there being Bruce Willis, Mickey Rourke, Jessica Alba. We need to bring them back in some way here. And I get it, and that's why again it just has that feel to it, has that cash grab feel to it, man.
It does have a cash grab feel to it. Yeah. Yeah, and Bruce Willis is back, which we talked a lot about Bruce in the first one. Can I be honest with you? I had less of a problem with the ghost of Bruce Willis being seen by Rourke than I did with the whole Marv thing. I just kept bumping into that so hard I thought I was going to fall down. But I'm like, wait a minute, he saw Bruce Willis. Okay, cool. I don't care. It's fine.
I love that Hardigan is back. I don't know if you've ever seen The Ladies' Man.
I don't think I have.
The Tim Meadows movie with that's based off of the SNL sketch.
Ooh, a lady. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, in that movie, the great John Witherspoon did a scene where him and Karen Parsons is like drinking straight out of the bottle, and John Witherspoon's character is like, "Don't drink so much liquor, girl. You don't know what to do to you." And I kept thinking that every time Hardigan would pop up and tell her like, "Nancy, stop drinking so much." I was like, Bruce Willis is gonna bust into this song. "Don't drink so much liquor, girl. You don't know what to do to you." Talk to her, Lord.
My favorite Ladies' Man thing of all time was when he said, "Was your father a meat burglar? Because it looks like someone stole 2 fine hams and shoved them up the back of your dress." Dude, I love that line. Oh my God.
The great Tim Meadows, man.
Right? Dude, when he gives a smile after he gives that line, I'm like, how are you not cracking up through that take? That'd be too hard.
So funny, man. The great Tim Meadows, who is in Peacemaker, and he's
He is.
fantastic in that as well.
He's awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, Bruce looked great. It's fine. It's fine that he's here. I didn't bump into that. I liked that they gave him that X on his head. Like the scars look very much comics accurate to the faces and stuff, like the bandages on Marv, of course, as we saw in part 1 and everything. But yeah.
I was waiting for this entire thing to have some kind of stinger to it. I thought at one point, I was like, okay, Nancy is going through all of these like delusions. Like at one point, Rourke is in her room with her and talking to her, and then she's seeing Hardigan everywhere. I thought the end of this was gonna be none of this actually happened.
Ooh.
She's like in a delusional state somewhere in a hospital. That was gonna
Mhm.
be the end of this.
It's the Batman never happened. Bruce Wayne's been in the insane asylum since his parents were killed, right?
Yes, I thought that that was gonna be the end of this. That none of this actually happened. She was actually infirmed all this time.
Interesting.
And nope, that's not what happened at all. It was just straightforward. Like she's seeing ghosts everywhere, and like you said, even Rourke can see the ghosts at some point.
Yeah.
I guess.
I love how he didn't even go, "What? What?" I think he did stop for a moment because it allowed her to. Well, there you go. She did get the drop on him, but it was thanks to Hardigan, not thanks to Johnny.
Yeah, it was the ghost of Hardigan that saved her life. God.
Oh man, crazy. And he's still pledging his love to her. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that was yeah.
It's still a little creepy, but it's fine.
But Bruce Willis, I think he was fine in what he was asked to do here.
Hmm.
It just kind of felt very tacked on.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like it was. Yeah.
We need
Very
to bring
tacked
Bruce
on.
back. We got to find a way to bring Bruce Willis back here as Hardigan, even though Hardigan's dead. And yeah, this is how we managed to do that. And
That's
it
how they
just
did it.
yeah, it just didn't really do it for me.
You know what? I'm gonna go back to this Marv thing again. Should should they have just said, "Here's the sequel to Sin City"? I mean, you would have had to change some things. But if Marv's going to be the main guy anyhow, shouldn't it have been, "Here's the sequel to Sin City"?
Yeah.
I don't know. This
I
prequel stuff, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of mess, you know?
I think it would have worked better if the same way in the initial Sin City where Marv is back as a background character and he's just sitting at the bar.
Hmm.
I think that that would have worked better if Marv was back here and he just popped up in the background somewhere and it's like, wait, there's Marv.
Hmm.
But we saw so much Marv in this movie, and I almost want to say there was too much Marv.
Yes.
Uh, and I think that didn't help as well because he kind of served the same purpose in the Dwight prequel that he did in the Nancy story. And
Yes.
it was done in such a ridiculous, hokey way. Like, even the stuff with him and Dwight, where he shows up to this big mansion with Dwight, and he's like running through all of these goons, beating up all of the goons. He even has like the one-on-one fight with Manute, and then he shows up back with Dwight. He's like, "Yeah, I beat up that one guy," and he's got like his hat on, cocked to the side, and it's so like ridiculous. It's like, wait, what's happening here?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I couldn't. And look, if I'm so wrong, right? Like if I'm wrong about this, fine. But if I am, how come audiences had a problem with this too? Because it kind of feels like you just made this way more confusing than it needed to be.
Yeah,
Either go all cards on the table and say this is a flat out prequel, Mickey, we love you, but like you said, you'll see him here and there, but he's not the star.
yeah, and that's why I said you could tell because Marv was so well received, like we said in the first movie. He was the
Mhm.
breakout star of the first movie. It felt like we need more Marv in the second movie. And that is a total studio call. You can tell a studio call when you see it. And that's again where this has all of the indications of a cash grab. Like, hey, we're doing Sin City. Well, we can't do it without Mickey, right? And Mickey was so like the first time. We need more of him. We need
Yeah.
him in we need him in this story, and we need him at the end of the movie as well. When you really think about it, the first time around, we got Marv's story, and then he appeared as a background character throughout the movie in the first movie.
Mhm.
Marv starts the movie, then he's in the Dwight prequel, and he's at the end of the movie.
Yes. Look, it's Boba Fett, right? Like the fans never wanted to see Boba Fett die. For years, fans were like, "Why in the world would you kill off Boba Fett? Maybe he's not dead." So then he's not dead.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way to bring him back.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Here's something I'll tell you. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, back to him real quick. That role was originally offered to Johnny Depp.
Hmm.
Yeah, but he declined due to scheduling conflicts. Levitt replaced him despite offers to star in other movies such as Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think Pratt's great in the MCU, but seeing what Pratt's becoming now, I'm like, yeah,
That's a different movie with JGL in it.
it is. He's
It's
too.
just-
I mean, Pratt's hunky and dreamy as well, but Levitt is so. I don't know, man.
oh man, I'm now thinking about like JGL doing like all of the dance. Thinking about the opening credits of
Yes,
Guardians with JGL doing like the dancing and everything. It's a different movie. It's a
it is a
totally different
different
movie.
movie. Yeah.
And I think he would have nailed it, to be honest. I think he would have killed it.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's yeah. Again, Pratt's becoming. We don't have to talk about it. Tom Clark's 6M podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1 800 519 5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark's 6M podcast sent you. Yeah, and that's not the only bit of casting stuff that happened. Angelina Jolie was said to be Rodriguez's first choice for Eva, so
Yeah,
much that he was delaying production to correspond with her pregnancy, according to Rosario Dawson. The
that makes
subsequent
sense.
articles, throughout the years stated that other rumored frontrunners in addition to Jolie were Salma Hayek, Rose McGowan, and Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, all of those
So,
women fit the bill.
sure. And Eva Green, let's go ahead and talk about her as Ava Lord. Eva Green is all kinds of naked. And I'm going to tell you, if you choose to do it, just do it. And buddy, she flat out does it. She's all kinds of naked in this movie. But like, even with the gratuitous violence and nudity and stuff, I mean, it's sexy, but I don't know that it's ever, ooh, she's naked. She's such a horrible person. Like,
Yes,
right? Like the nudity kind of becomes secondary to like, yeah, this chick's the devil, man. Like,
yes,
don't fall in love with her, man. You're not gonna make it out alive, you know?
yes. This is really the main story of the movie, the
Hmm.
Dame to Kill For, the Dwight prequel, and the Ava character is the main antagonist slash femme fatale. Um, I think Eva Green played the role very well. She is very naked in this movie. She's very naked in most of the movies she's in this time period. She's also in the 300 prequel, right?
That's right.
Very naked in that. Um, very good looking woman, very beautiful woman.
Mhm.
And this woman oozes sexuality. I
Yes.
mean, there are bits of the movie where she fits this role so perfectly. I mean, I think there's one scene in particular where I was like, "Oh, she's like nailing this." When Dwight goes to the mansion to rescue her because he thinks she's in trouble, and he gets beat up by Manute, and then he goes back to his apartment, and she's just in there with the cigarette, naked. And he's like, "Get out." She's like, "No." And I was like, "Yeah, no, she doesn't have to go nowhere." What do you mean? Like I was ready to just be like do anything she says in that moment because she's
Yeah.
just the way she delivers that line, it's perfect. And
Yeah.
she does it twice. She's just like no, and eventually he ends up in the bed, and I was like, I totally see how that happened.
Yeah, it would have been insanely difficult to say no, for sure. By the way, did she fool you? Did you think for a second she was telling the truth in any moment at all during her character arc or no?
Initially, but again, when she showed up in his apartment with that cigarette and he came back, I was like, oh, I know exactly what kind of woman you are. You're trouble.
Mm.
Uh, and she's exactly the kind of woman that's trouble, that does exactly that. We as men have had that ex, that's had that woman in our life that like you can tell this woman is trouble. She'll call you and ask you for something. It's like, man, and then you end up doing it, and then she'll end up getting you in trouble again, and then it's like you again. It's like, and so I think she fits this role very well. I think she plays the role very well. I think it's such a one-dimensional, almost like misogynistic character in some ways that again, this is part of the Frank Miller writing style that I don't think has aged well in some ways. It's
Yeah, I agree with that.
it's such a damning stereotype. Um and it's so over the top. It's not like she's a little bit evil. It's not like she's a little bit conniving and manipulating. She's just all the way manipulating. She's manipulating every man in her stratosphere. It's not that she's manipulating Dwight. No, everybody.
Everyone, yes. Stereotype's a good way to put it because, like in storytelling, men can be manipulative in any number of ways,
Of
right?
course.
Politically, socially, religiously, whatever. Women is through sex. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be that. But that's usually the go to. That's the default for female characters, man. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I think if it was more subtle, it would have been fine. And I mean, she has so many great lines where she's just like, "You were always dumb when it came to sex," and it's like, man, well, got him. But
Yep.
it's again, it's just like she she does so many conniving things. Like when we find out, like Manuda's attached to her, it's like, okay, so and like even like the plot line with the police officer that she manipulates, and he ends up killing his partner and then killing himself. It's like, okay,
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so yeah, we got to talk about the cop because I think they told Christopher Maloney, "We want you to look just like you do in that Is For You show, man. Like you got wear the same clothes, you got to do everything, and then come on over and play Detective Mort, dude."
yeah.
What a shock to the system that is to see him because you're like, wait a minute, that's what's his character in Is For You?
But yeah, then he has like a very at one point he's being manipulated by her, and
Yeah.
then he ends up having a very graphic sex scene with her. And it's like,
Yes,
okay, right?
dude. In a very short amount of time, left his wife and everything.
Yes. Um, it it's I think the thing that works about the first Sin City is these things happen. Like all of these wild things happen, but they happen in a very like cheeky way that
Yeah.
it's kind of like funny and it's not as morbid. It's more palatable because there's kind of a humor to it. And this
Yes.
this time around it's just very much on the nose. These are just all horrible people doing horrible things and it's just like, "Oh, okay, well that happened."
Yeah. Terrible people doing terrible things to each other. Yeah. And his partner, Detective Bob. Bob is Jeremy Piven. If you're going to fantasy shoot an actor in the face, I'd advocate for fantasy shooting an actor in the face should be Jeremy Piven. Can you appreciate the amount of hate that exists for Jeremy Piven, Phil? Do you have any idea how deep the hate and resentment is for this guy? Like for real, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nuts. It's nuts. Yeah, that whole bit came from out of nowhere. I mean, you could see it coming a mile away. And then the guy kills himself after he sees what he did. But I'm
Yes.
like, all right, well,
Yeah.
that Eva, she's awesome. She's a she devil, as they say. We mentioned Rosario earlier. Rosario is I don't know that Rosario could do a bad job. And no matter what you put her in, she's Gail, of course. She's great. It looks great. Great actor. I kind of feel like she didn't have enough to do, but the
Mm,
cast is so big. But
yeah.
she's back with her girls here. That's pretty cool. We did not, however, get the same actor that we got for, let's see, Miho is not Devin Aoki. Jamie Chung took her place because Devin Aoki had her second pregnancy and could not come back as Miho. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this was another time in a movie where I was like, yeah, I know a studio edict when I see it. Miho was very popular first time. We need more of Miho killing people this time. And there were more graphic scenes and action scenes with Miho this time. And it felt very tacked on. Just like
Yeah,
multiple things here. Even Gail's spots in certain parts of this movie felt very tacked on.
yeah,
And yeah, Josh Brolin, I think that he did his best. I think Josh Brolin is a great actor. We've seen
yep,
him do very well in other things. Clive Owens was very much missed here in this movie. I don't think that the Dwight character was nearly as interesting when he supposedly gets the plastic surgery and Josh just comes back with the wig. It looks so bad.
Yes.
It looks so bad, and it I it's one of those things where watching it, it completely took me out because I'm like, okay, we're supposed to take away now that he's got the hair that now he's the Dwight from the first movie, except he looks nothing like him.
Mm. Yes. Man, should this have just been Clive Owen after the surgery?
Yes.
Like, I don't have it in front of me why that didn't happen, but I don't know why that didn't happen.
Yeah. It just didn't work. It was just too confusing. And it just didn't look good. I just don't think that Josh Brolin looked good with in the wig and everything. It just didn't work.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, and we didn't mention that Piven's character Bob was supposed to be replacing Michael Madsen as Bob because Bob's new partner is Mort replacing Hardigan. I thought Hardigan killed Bob in the first movie. Am I crazy?
No, he just punched him. He just knocked him out. Because remember, he comes and picks him up from jail
That's
later in the movie.
right. That's right. That's right. Wow. Yeah. Well, another reason to not like Piven for sure. So, look, I'm with you on Brolin. I think Brolin is great, but I'll say this: where I thought Gordon Levitt was not going to fit, I kind of felt like Brolin didn't fit through the bulk of this, through no fault of his own. It just kind of felt like, yeah, we got to put somebody here, and we don't have Clive. I don't know, man. The dynamic wasn't the same for me. I thought he did
No.
fine, but it just didn't feel like the same character at all, really.
Yeah, I thought that Clive was missed here.
Mm.
I think that Josh Brolin looked the part early on, but I just don't think that he really fit. Um, he had some great lines, and I thought that he had some stuff that I don't know. If this was different, it probably would have worked. I think if we had never seen Clive in the role in the first movie, it might have been
Mhm.
different.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I thought all this stuff with him and Manute, um, where when he's describing how Manute is beating him up, and he's like, "I've never taken a beating like that." I thought all that those lines were great,
Yeah.
but it's just I don't know, man. It's just tonally it just did not work. The tone shift from the first movie to this just didn't work.
I
And
totally agree. Yeah.
I think if you saw the first movie and you're supposed to understand that that's the same character, it's just very confusing.
Very confused. Not even the same height, man.
No.
Not even the same build. What are we doing? Like, yeah, I bumped into that pretty hard. We've talked about Senator Rourke. This is Powers Booth. This is Curly Bill, everybody from Tombstone. We lost Powers Booth. Rest in peace to him, of course. He's fantastic. Those eyes, man. He and this Ava. I don't know why they didn't end up hooked up because
Yeah.
they're inherently evil, the both of them.
Yeah, he's great here. You talk about a guy that completely leans into the ridiculousness of this.
Yes.
Um, in the storyline with Johnny, where Johnny goes to Marcy's apartment and finds out that they've killed her, and like they're like throwing her body parts around the apartment. And he's just in there, just doing the mustache twirling evil villain thing. I'm like, yeah, he's great. And then Johnny jumps out the window, and he's like looking at the window, and then for some reason Rourke like does like a jump scare out the window, like ha ha ha.
Yeah, yes.
It's so ridiculous. Like, why did he do
Uh,
that?
yeah. You know what? We can't forget he was also in the Captain America movie too, or
Yeah,
Avengers as well. Yeah, that's right. He was one of the figures on the screen, one of the decision makers in DC. I'm guessing.
yeah. I believe this is his last movie.
Is it?
I think that this was the last movie he ever made.
I mean, you might be right. Why did I think that he had died more recently? He passed in 2017. You're close. Yeah, maybe it was his last film. Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. Yep. for sure. He did some TV after this. Gideon Malik was apparently the character because in Marvel because he reprised it on Agents of Shield from 2015 to 2016.
Hmm.
Yeah, Gideon Malik. I don't think I know that character's name in Marvel Universe. Let's see. Yep, it was I guess created. Yeah, I don't know. Wow, man. For some reason, I was thinking he died a lot more recently than that.
Yeah.
Time just flies by. Speaking of actors who are passing away, I mean, Michael Clark Duncan was not back as Minute. By the way, did Minute have a name in the first movie?
I Yes, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is Dennis Haysbert, of course. Pedro wants a bat from Major League.
Yeah.
I don't care what else he does. President 24. No matter what else the guy does, he'll always be Pedro Serrano to me, man. From Major
Yeah.
League, he's great. He's as ridiculous as the rest of them. Invincible. Like you had to. They shot him like 12 times or something to get him to die in the end. But if replacing Michael Clark Duncan is not easy for anybody. I thought Dennis Haysbert did fine, man.
Yeah. Like you said, Dennis Haysbert from you know, 24 fame, also
Mhm.
Allstate commercials.
Ah, that's right. That voice. Ooh.
um, yeah, I thought if you needed a big imposing guy to fill the void here,
Mhm.
um, I thought that he worked here. Um, I believe because isn't he a recast in Major League as well?
No, they recast Willie Mays Hayes. They replaced Wesley Snipes with Omar Epps because Wesley Snipes played Willie Mays Hayes in the first film. He did
Yes,
not come back for sequels,
right. Why did
and
I
it was the
think?
guy that was on House that took his spot. He's done stuff since then, but House is jumping to mind.
Yeah, I mean Omar Epps, of course. It's a legend. Of course, Juice and all these other things he was in.
Yeah. By the way, he was a great Willie Mays Hayes. I mean, Wesley Snipes is the man,
Yeah.
but there's that part of Major League too where he's like, man, he's forgot where he's came from. Well, want to go take a ride in my limo? Like, I just love that line.
Yeah, man. Omar Epps is a legend, man. Juice, of course. Higher Learning and all these other
That's right.
movies. The Wood, of course. Love and Basketball. You name it. He's been all over.
Hmm. Really good. Stacy Keach is here as Alric Wallenquist. Christopher Lloyd shows up as the
Very,
back alley doctor.
very weird Christopher Lloyd cameo. I was like, okay.
Yes. Yeah, he just showed up. He's that doctor that the bad guys go for to get patched up.
Yeah.
That's what his role is in this movie.
Yeah.
Dr. Craning. Yeah. Christopher Lloyd. But let's see. Jamie King is back as Goldie and Wendy. I love how only one of them is still colored and the other one is still black and white.
Yes. They made a point of showing them next to each other. I
Yeah.
thought that was an interesting callback.
Yeah,
It was a
same.
cool callback, but it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, that's the thing we're doing.
Yes. Yes. Let's see. Juno Temple from Ted Lasso fame is here as Sally. She is the prostitute that Ray Liotta's character. He shows up here as well, playing Joey. He's playing a businessman, and things don't end well for him. But at least he doesn't get killed. Everybody.
Yeah,
But
I thought the stuff with the Joey character was good. I thought
mhm,
it's Ray Liotta. Rest in peace to the great Ray Liotta.
yeah,
This guy never really hams up, never really phones it in. I thought he was great.
yeah, yeah. Same. Martin Sakis as Damian Lord. Kids, you'll know him when we covered The Equalizer. He's the Russian mobster from that film. Such a
Hmm.
great character in that movie. He is here as Damian Lord, of course. Julia Garner, Shalabal herself, is here as Marcy. Lady Gaga's here as Bertha. Alex Vega as Gilda. Patricia Vaughn as Dallas. Frank Miller is in this movie, as is Rodriguez as
Hmm.
Sam and Sam's friend, respectively. What you think about Frank getting on the screen in his own movie, dude?
Yeah, I noticed, and I was like, well, okay, here we are. Uh, yeah, it was basically the way I felt about a lot of this movie. I was like, okay, that's a thing that happened. Um,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I was surprised to see Julia Garner here. I was like, oh,
Yeah, I didn't know that at all.
and I thought, I mean, when you've seen her in, because I've seen her in two things this year. She was in Weapons, which I cannot say enough good things about Weapons. Great movie. Also, of course, in Fantastic Four, and yeah, completely different here. I mean, of course, she looks the same, a younger version of her here. But yeah, she plays this role completely different. I thought that she filled the role very well. Um, Beautiful woman. She looked great in this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see her. I was like, wait, it's Julia Gardner.
Yeah, let's see. Brittany Murphy was no longer with us for this movie either as Sheila. Was she here, like the Sheila character? Because I'm looking through the cast
No,
list, but
I
I
don't
don't
think
see
she
her
was.
name. I didn't think so.
Yeah, she was in that movie.
Yeah, crazy. It's dude, when you think about how many people have passed since, like in the Sin City franchise, these two movies, it's kind of crazy. Like it's
Yeah.
it's all coincidence, of course. Not there's no kind of weird curse or anything. I don't imagine, but it's just weird. I guess with such a large cast, Phil, you're bound to have at least something of that happen. But it just seems kind of weird that it's so many people, dude.
I mean, also, it's almost a 10-year jump.
Well, that's true. Yeah, locking at me 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about the time. So talk about time jump. Two of the film's four segments, Just Another Saturday Night and A Dame to Kill For, take place before the first Sin City. So I think we've established that. But yeah. So let's see. The character of Shelley, as we said, Brittany Murphy, they did not recast her out of respect to the late Brittany Murphy. So that's cool that they
Yeah. That was the right call.
yeah, for sure. Eva Green, we mentioned being crazy naked in this movie. She was asked if she had ever had any trepidation about being naked. And so much in the movie in 2014 interview, she said, any actor and actress are very nervous when we have to do that kind of scene. It is not gratuitous with Ava, the way she uses sexuality to get men and use men as part of her character, but also it's not realistic. It is art. Robert lights it in such a way and and he promised me there would be loss of shadows and stuff and things would be added in post. That was very important. But on the day you feel nervous, it's very strange. You're so stressed that it's like, I'm not naked, I'm not naked, I'm not naked. And then you kind of forget that you're naked. By the way, bang up job on the lighting. It never hit me like, ooh, like of course I can see that she has no clothes on, but I do think it was pretty well done with the lighting feel with what they did in post. I thought it worked out great.
I think that they did some really cool visuals with her
Hmm.
and her being naked. Cause, and I think that they fit with the story that, like, the perfect example I think is, like I said, when he comes back to the apartment and she's in there naked and the way that she's lit.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's done perfectly. The scenes where she's swimming and they use an effect with the water and they're making
Mm.
the highlights off of the water white with her body. I think that was really well done as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it didn't feel gratuitous. In her words, it didn't feel gratuitous at all.
Yeah, I think that it fit the style that we saw from the first movie.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Let's see. This is Lady Gaga's second film. Don't know if we mentioned her.
Yeah, that we did get a Gaga
Hmm.
cameo.
Is that what we're calling her now?
Uh, yeah, and I forget which movie it is. Oh, it's isn't it Hangover? And isn't that how Zach
Oh,
Galifianakis
that's right. That's right. Yeah,
Gaga,
I forget. Yeah,
Lady Gaga.
I forgot all about that. Oh my. By the way, cute little side note here. Don't know if this hit you. This is a reunion for Gordon Levitt and Christopher Lloyd 20 years after Angels in the Outfield.
Ah,
That never hit me.
no, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. By the way, shout out to Jessica Alba, who is completely committed to the stripper routine on stage. And I don't mean that to sound in kind of way, but man, that dance scene near the end, I kind of thought this is never going to end. It kind of felt like it was going to go forever. And I thought, man, if that's a body double, that's insanely great shooting because it does not look like a body. It looks like her through the whole bit. Like she definitely got committed to doing that, man. You know, she has a good part of the movie. It's true. But I don't know if for me that the character felt like it was fleshed out enough. Maybe we've already touched enough on that, but I don't know, man. It kind of felt like, yeah, I'm not sure I don't know. I don't know if I was feeling it, man. Do you think there was stuff left undone with her? Or do you think that I don't know, does it feel messy to you?
I really like Jessica Alba. I really
Mhm.
like Jessica Alba in the role of Nancy.
Yes.
Um, I think the writing for her character in this movie is not good. I think that it's not, it doesn't come off believable. It just feels like, okay, she's doing all of these things, but they don't really fit the character we were introduced to in the first movie.
Yeah.
Um, like the stuff where she's like having the breakdown and like smashing her head against the mirror and stuff. It just felt so hokey and weird. It was like, I don't. Why are we doing this? Like, like she could just move on. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it would have been more interesting if she attempted to move on with her life and she was like having the alcoholism and everything, and she was just haunted by everything that happened. And then she felt like she had to have revenge. But it was just so on the nose the entire movie. Like she's up there stripping and she's stripping with the bottle in her hand and she's like spitting out the liquor. It's like, all right.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That kind of felt a little too much.
Yeah, it was just way too. It was just way too hokey and on the nose, man.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess the time jump bit um got me as well. Again, like that just
Yeah.
and dude, we just reviewed the first movie last week. Okay.
Mhm.
Now imagine audiences in real time in 2014 going, what the F is going on? Like there's been 9 years in between. You and
Yeah.
I reviewed it last week. And
Yeah.
I was watching it today going, I don't understand what's going on. Like
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that really hurt the movie at that time.
Yeah.
I think the jump in real time from 2005 to 2014 really hurt it.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
it made it more confusing. Like some of the recasts, some of the character changes and things. It was so glaring here. Uh, like the Nancy subplot of her like cutting her face for some reason in the mirror, and then so in the end of the movie she's got like these like ridiculous stitches on her face. It just didn't work, man. The writing in the Nancy storyline in particular is just so bad. It's just not good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. Well, look, we talked about this at the end of, the first movie we reviewed here, Phil. I mean, I still think there's a future for this if they want to go back to it. I think streaming is the perfect platform for this. I think there's a world in which we get a Sin City streamer that is freaking winning at stuff and being the top most downloaded show for that particular platform because I think it could absolutely work. I still in my head see a Watchmen style spinoff where it's the
Hmm.
same elements but a different story and different characters where it
Yeah.
could absolutely work. But I don't know if they're ever going to do that. I wonder, like,
Yeah.
is this one of those properties, Phil, that you maybe should just leave it alone, or do you think that, hey, eventually let's go back to this at some point?
Well, I think everything I'm saying that I did not like here is what would make it work better as a streamer, because
Hmm.
I don't think you'd be as tempted to say, okay, we need Mickey Rourke, or we
Mhm.
need Bruce Willis, or we need all the biggest stars to sell this as a blockbuster movie. If it's just a streamer, I think that they would be more willing to introduce new characters and just cast characters specifically for the TV show.
Yeah.
I don't think that we would go back to the well in such a tacked on way if it was a TV show.
Yeah, I agree with that. Man,
And
you could have a mix of veteran actors, Phil. You could have new up and coming actors. It
yeah,
could be
yeah.
a mix.
Yeah, I think it would work well as a TV show. But I think it's one of those things where you need someone to come in with a vision for it and a story that they want to tell.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like Damon Lindelof for the Watchmen series. Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, because I think that's part of what didn't work here. I think that this it was just too much of, hey, this worked well the first time around, so let's do more of it. And it's like, yeah, but maybe do something more interesting and maybe do something in a way that doesn't feel as exposition heavy. Like that was another weird thing that I thought about the Nancy storyline. We got the narration of the guy telling us, "Oh, she somehow found Hardigan's gun and she's been going to the range, and that's why do we need that?" It felt
Right.
it 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 just completely took me out of it because if we get the discovery later, um, Like when she gets ready to leave with Marv to go to confront Rourke, and then she goes in the drawer and gets the gun, and then we kind of put the dots together on our own, like, oh, it's Hardigan's gun. That would have worked better, wouldn't it?
And you could have shown like when she picked it up and it's like a slow motion taking it to put it in a purse or put it in a holster, that it's a quick flashback to Hardigan. Or maybe he's in the room and he looks down at his side where his gun would have been. You,
Exactly.
oh, that would have been
I
good.
think that would have been a better use of bringing Bruce Willis back instead of doing all of the ghost scenes. Yeah, you could have did the ghost scenes, but you could have had just a flashback of her taking out the gun, and it could have been like something filmed from the perspective of the first movie of him standing behind her, showing her how to use the gun. Like, all
Oh,
right, point it, hold it steady, and that would have worked so much better.
that's great. That's really good. 30 seconds, it would have been enough.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So much of stuff was so on the nose. It was like, well, we're bringing Bruce back, so we got to have him all over this plot line. We got to
Yeah.
use him as much as possible. And I think less is more would have worked so much better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the story of this movie is that less is more. I mean, it's got 43% on Rotten Tomatoes, which, I'll be straight with you. I'm kind of surprised it's that high, but critics were not kind. C minus on this one. Let's see, this one's a D. I mean, you know, sometimes kids, by the way, we say it here before on the show. If you don't care about what critics say, that's perfectly fine. But Phil, I will say this. I can probably, for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, I can maybe count on one hand the number of films that I freaking love that the critics have just absolutely destroyed. Like,
Yeah.
there might be a few, right? But like the movies that I walk away from going, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'll go look at reviews and it's been wrecked. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm in tune with anything or anybody, but I don't know, Phil. Maybe as being analytical as we are reviewing this stuff, maybe you get a sense of this doesn't feel right. Maybe as a storyteller, you wouldn't do this or wouldn't do that. Maybe there's something to it after all. I don't know.
Yeah. I just think there are things they could have done here and not done it in such a ridiculous on the nose
Yeah.
way. I think it would have worked better. Like I was just sitting here thinking, like, all right, even if you just ended the storyline with Johnny of him the work feeling like he won, getting in his car. We don't get any other scenes with Nancy and the gun up to
Right.
that point. All of this is just him going back home. He's taking his coat off and everything, and like you just see her in the background in the doorway with the gun, and that's the first time
Mhm.
we see it. It hits so different.
It's true. Yeah, it's absolutely true, man. Yeah. Well, this thing's got all the subtlety of a bull in a china shop, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, nothing subtle about this. This is well, kids, huge cast, great actors in this movie. The formula was there. It was a proven formula. I think it could have worked. I'm with Phil. I think the 9-year time span really does show it took its toll on the story, on the storytelling. Robert Rodriguez, still a highly respected director. Frank Miller, still, even though he's an embattled creator these days, you can't take away
Mm.
what the guy's accomplished for sure. And we wouldn't try to do that here. But yeah, this movie's got some problems. But as we said, I think this thing could potentially have a future. By the way, Phil, are you keeping up with anything Frank's doing at the moment? I'm not even sure I know what he's doing at the moment.
I have no idea what he's doing at the moment.
Man, I remember checking out that. What was the sequel to the Dark Knight Returns that he did? Dark Knight Strikes Again, I
Oh,
think.
didn't he do a third one?
He did do a third one. Oh my God, he did.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, it got progressively rougher. Progressively rougher. I don't know. Like that Dark Knight Returns is a classic. It's a piece of literature. It's classic. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. The Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. Ugh.
oh my, no, no, it's not a good call. Not a good call. Yikes. Well,
I'm looking at the cover now. Publication date November 15th to November 2017.
holy Lord.
Yeah. I remember this as it was coming out, and there were so many other things that Frank was writing that I didn't enjoy. That I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna give it a chance. I'm good.
I think in a long box somewhere I've got something, but I don't think I finished it. I think I got 1 and 2 or something. I don't remember what I got.
Yeah, uh, yeah, but I was not a fan of the second one. I was not a fan of Strikes Again.
Oh, me neither. No, not at all. Yeah, not at all. By the way, you'll love this. Miller was still writing Gordon Levitt's character's story during filming.
Well, who could have guessed?
And they filmed his scenes in 4 days and it was done.
Again, who could have guessed?
Yeah, right. Holy Lord. That's crazy. The film has 20 executive producers. Okay.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. My God in heaven. I don't know what we're doing here. Yeah, I don't get it. Well, I think that's it for us, kids. We have given our critiques of this and gave you our takes on oh my how this didn't work. And everything, art is all about being subjective, folks. Maybe you love this movie. If you did, good on you. But yeah, I just can't get into it. But as we said, hopefully there's a future for this at some point. If the creators choose to go back down this road, we shall see. So, Phil, before we get out of here, let's get your last word on A Dame to Kill For.
Yeah, this is not a very good movie. I I think the things that work about it, are some of the best bits that work about the first movie, but there's not enough here to justify a sequel, in my opinion.
Yeah, there just wasn't. Yeah. The words cash grab keep coming to mind for sure. So, yeah. Well, kids, thanks as always for checking us out. And if you haven't heard that Sin City episode, go back in the archives. It's one episode before this one. Go check it out. We'd appreciate it. And we've done a bunch of comic book stuff here before. If you've happened upon the podcast for the first time, thanks for checking us out. Lots of other stuff you can check out that we've done. Marvel, DC. We've done some Dark Horse here and there. Talked about comic books quite extensively on this show, as well as movies, music, pop culture in general. You name it, we've done it. Lots more to do, folks. We'll never be finished. This is the podcast that never ends. So we hope you're enjoying it as always. But thanks so much for following and for sharing, liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Stay tuned for a lot more. We'll be back at you next week with a brand new episode. But for now, that is Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at 6M Podcasts. We'll see you next time.